A woman tried to take my son from the playground because I'm blind. I was at the park with my 4-year-old when a stranger sat down beside me on the bench without a word. "Where's his mother?" she asked. I told her his mum was at work, and she made a small, disgusted sound. "But you're blind! How could you possibly know where he is right now?" I called out to my son, and he answered at once from the swings. She laughed. "He could wander anywhere and you'd never know. You can't see if someone's hurting him." I explained that my son and I had our own system, that he was completely safe. Her voice dropped and moved closer. "You mean you've trained a toddler to look after himself because you're too disabled to do it? Did his mother leave once she realized what a burden you'd be?" I told her the conversation was over, and she needed to leave us alone. I heard her stand, but her footsteps went toward the equipment, not away. "Sweetheart, come here. Your daddy asked me to check on you." My son's voice went small. "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers." "I'm not a stranger, honey. I'm trying to help you." Then he made a frightened sound. "Let go of me." I was already up and moving toward his voice. She shouted at me to stay back, and I could hear her pulling him along. "This is exactly why people like you shouldn't have children. You can't even keep him safe." I tracked her steps turning toward the car park and shouted for anyone, to stop her. My son was screaming for me now, his voice getting farther with every second, and I couldn't run full speed without knowing what was in front of me. It was the most helpless I have ever felt. Then another voice rang out near the benches. "Hey, what are you doing with that child?" The woman's breathing went ragged as she sped up. "He's being raised by a blind man who has no business parenting. I'm taking him somewhere he'll get a real family. Put him down, now." The second woman's voice was closer, harder. I kept moving toward my son's cries, hands out, and then he broke free and slammed into my chest so hard we both nearly went down. I wrapped around him and didn't let go. The woman who'd stepped in said she was calling the police. The first one started shouting for the whole park to hear, saying I'd get my son killed, that they should all remember they did nothing. 2 patrol cars arrived within minutes. She started talking before the officers even reached us, that I was blind, that the boy was unsupervised, that she'd stepped in to save him. An officer crouched in front of me. "Sir, is this your son?" "Yes." He asked my boy if I was his dad, and I felt him nod hard against me. The officer's tone shifted when he turned back to her. "Ma'am, several witnesses saw you physically carry this child away while he was calling for his father." She scoffed, incredulous, and kept insisting disabled people had no business raising children at all. A second officer's voice came from behind her. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for attempted kidnapping." She thrashed and shouted the whole way to the car, still certain she was the hero, right up until the door shut. Later, one of the officers told me quietly that 3 separate people had described the same thing. My son fighting to get back to me, calling my name. Not one of them had believed her. On the walk home, my son reached up and turned my face down toward him, the way he always does when he really needs me to hear him. "Dad, I told her you always know where I am." "I did. I always have. We have a whistle, a call and answer. 100 small signals nobody else notices. People see the white cane and assume the worst. They never see the system underneath, built between a father and a son who trust each other completely." I held him close and felt his heartbeat against my chest, steady and exactly where he belonged.